You're here, as in my view, as someone who is awakened to the importance of having a healthy relationship within yourself, because you understand that if you can make that change here, that this can be extrapolated or iterated out into the world, and by setting that example, that's the only hope we really have of creating more beauty in the world, is for people just to set the damn example. There must be a solution, there must be an opportunity to move towards beauty, because that's how reality is designed. Anyone knows of friends who are in toxic relationships, you're gonna see this dynamic at play. Ironically, the narcissist and the victim have the same insecurities. Learn the rhythm for yourself, and then you'll know who you're gonna be good business partners with, who you're gonna be good relationship partners with, when you know what your rhythm is. I believe that you are here on this planet to learn how to discover your true superpowers, your power, then wield it to create beauty in your own life and in the world. And I think I'm preaching to the choir a little bit in this moment, because that's what's happening here, with Dr. Fab. It's a very heart-based thing. Is this my clicker, by the way?
Yes.
All right. And I really enjoy coaching. I got my life coaching certification just before the pandemic. I realized my whole life I've been a coach, and I didn't know it. I had no idea. My friends are coming to me for relationship advice, business advice. I'm the guy that's Googling everything. And if you ever done Colby, I'm a high fact finder and also a visionary at the same time. So I didn't know what to do with it for the longest time. So I've done different entrepreneurial ventures and all that. But I've learned that there's something I call the Magic of Emergence, which is the title of my keynote today. And the truth is, I have to blame a lot of this on women. And by blame, I mean give the credit to. I have learned so much from women, and they are teaching me to this day really the secrets of beauty and what the world is really about. The reason this is, there's some chills. The reason this is important to me is because when I was 24 years old, I just moved to California from East Texas. I grew up about 3 hours from here, outside of Nacogdoches. Country boy, whistle at my dog, pee and poop in the forest kind of country boy, right? And while it was amazing as a child, there weren't a lot of women. So when I moved to California at 24, I realized I didn't know shit, right? I didn't know anything about women. And I really wanted to. Now, to double down on this, I was also a good little Mormon boy. I was the white shirt, name tag, knocking on the door, and amazing experience. It was beautiful. I really tapped into Christ consciousness, the acts of service, feeling the beauty in the world of sharing your love and concern for them with each other, and it really cultivated a deep sense of spirituality within myself. Now, at the time, I didn't really know that later would become what I call that feminine essence, or the oracle that we all have inside of us that guides us with our intuition. And the challenge was, however, in order to explore my other side, that yang component, go have some fun sometimes, to create more progress in my life, I felt boxed in by my dogmatic beliefs. And I finally, at the age of 30, decided to do something about it. So I wanted to learn how to speak to women, how to talk to women, how to open up. And I began at 24, but it really took me that 6 years before I really started to catch a stride. And I learned some amazing things. The first thing that I learned was that how important it is to truly accept and love yourself. And I think a lot of men, in particular, in our culture, have been shamed out of being in touch with their emotions. And this shows up as there's a lot of toxic behaviors that can show up, a lot of bias towards progress without being willing to observe the deeper nuances or intuitions, the things that guide us in moral and ethical ways. And you can see this played out in the microcosm within yourself, and extrapolate it out to collective consciousness as a whole. And I found that if I really, the real secret to women, for all you men out there, women are like, well, you better say something right. The real secret to women, and which is the secret to yourself as a human, is something I learned from one of my favorite authors named Zan Perion in his book. And he put it like this: beauty needs a witness. Beauty needs a witness. If you really start to meditate on that and think about that, it can really start to make a lot of life make sense. When I would nervously see a beautiful woman, or if I wanted to talk to someone that I found attractive or interesting, and I go to approach her, of course, I'm full of nerves, I'm uncertain, what if I don't make enough money, whatever, the chatter. And you just courageously step up and own the fact that I enjoy you, I see you, I'm curious about you, I'm interested in you, and I don't want anything from you. I would enjoy it, but I don't need it. I'm saying I would like it, but I don't have to have it. And let me say, it's magic. Magic happens because women represent this, there's this acceptance, this, when they feel seen but not grabbed at, that there's a generosity, there's an openness, there's a flowering, an opening that happens, the opening of the mind. And let's leave it there. Get creative with your imaginations. Don't go there. Actually, it's okay. But it was something that was so transformative to me that I realized, man, I'm experiencing something here that's really unique. And I wanted more people to know about it. So I tell my friends about it, and they'd be like, now they call me all the time. I'm helping my friends through their relationships and how to talk with them, getting those out of those pickles where the emotions are high and, this logic versus emotion. They're like, and I'm like, look, calm down, brother. Just weather the storm and wait for your turn, all right? I've learned that when you truly witness beauty, what I call portals of abundance open. Now, I know this is going to sound really esoteric, but I think you guys can handle it. I'm going to bring it down to some practical uses for you here in a moment and have something to share with you guys, something to give to you. Now, the question really is, how do you open a portal? And what do I mean by portal? What I mean by a portal is that everything you've been learning over the weekend has been something that has either helped you feel more grounded in who you are, or it has empowered you, increased your capabilities to create more progress. It's something that's about your inner world, or it's something about expanding into your outer world. And you're really seeking a harmony or a rhythm between those two things, like music. It's a fluctuation between those things, like a dance, a tango that's happening within inside of yourself, reflected into your relationships and out into the entire world as the collective consciousness. So you're here, as in my view, as someone who is awakened to the importance of having a healthy relationship within yourself, because you understand that if you can make that change here, that this can be extrapolated or iterated out into the world, and by setting that example, that's the only hope we really have of creating more beauty in the world, is for people just to set the damn example, to make progress, but not at the expense of beauty, okay? And not be so lost in the esoteric or the woo-woo that you're the broke artist. It's really about getting those things to dance together. So how do we open a portal? I got a deep, powerful mathematical formula here. Einstein, eat your shorts, man. A plus B equals C, or a better way to look at it is this. You might think this is a Venn diagram. A, the truth of A, the center of A, at the center of B creates the C, which does just happen to be the shape of your eye, and also the shape of the portal that we all entered the world through. Again, use your imagination. Ah, damn it, Rick's always popping in here promoting his show with his portals. Get out of here, Rick. So this isn't just some random concept. This actually comes from nature, and this is when I started learning about sacred geometry. It started, all this abstraction started to fit into something that was structured, and everybody was like, whoa, pow. My mom said I was that kid who was asking, why? What's the meaning of life? I was always curious about this. And if you look, does this have a laser on it? Is this the laser right here? Oh, there we go. So if you see here, this is a circle with a dot in the middle. And in sacred geometry, the dot represents the divine center. It's the hub of the wheel. It's the thing that keeps everything in balance. It's source. It's the reason why everything you've learned this weekend works. It's the magic. It's the secret behind it. Everything has to fit together because it all comes from one. So there must be a solution. There must be an opportunity to move towards beauty because that's how reality is designed. And we can't escape that. Why would we want to? And then the circle represents the expansion of consciousness. It's perspective. It's drawn from source, and it's held to it, but yet distant from it at the same time. And so you can think of this being like a single point or perspective. You can see we have the nebula here, and we have like the ovum, an egg. And then if we move down here, this is the diagram I began playing with. And this is, in sacred geometry, this is called the Vesica Piscis, or the Vesica Piscis. It represents the divine union of the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang, the geometry and the energy, the inner world and the outer world within yourself. And so this is what I want to kind of expand on. And this is where you start to see like cell mitosis, the exchange of information and DNA and growth. And I think many of you will recognize this symbol as the flower of life, which is these just added onto each other until you arrive at that symbol. And that symbol is found all over the world: Israel, Egypt, a bunch of other places, thousands of years, etched into stone. Multiple cultures had this understanding. There was something, they had the keys to the way reality worked, and it shaped their cultures. And I think that it's time for us to, use some logic and grounding and kind of get back to some of these principles so that we can have more beauty in our world and handle the changes that are happening with AI and all the things that are going on that a lot of the world is very, very reactive to. So there's two rules when it comes to opening a portal that I've learned. It's really what I've learned from women. Number one is that the emotional side of us needs to be able to express itself without being repressed or judged. It's just energy. Emotions and feelings can't be negotiated with. They're a hurricane that is here. There's no, hey, hurricane, it shouldn't be this way. It doesn't work that way. Okay, see, you're going to notice our romantic relationships really highlight what our relationship is with these things, right? So we've all been in the situation where you're in the emotions can be high in a relationship, and if you're both emotional, you actually are competing for emotional expression. It depolarizes the relationship, sexual attraction is killed, and you want to distance, it's repulsive. It's north and north. And you go, and then you calm down, you might repolarize and come together and make up. And then if you don't heal the pattern underneath, it's rinse, wash, repeat over and over and over. But if you're too logical and you're both competing for what you think should be done and you don't have a good relationship with how to navigate that, it's just the same thing. It's repulsive. It heats you up, leads to heated arguments. The second rule is that the logical side of us needs to truly listen, understand, investigate, and then offer a solution designed to allow our emotions to expand to higher states. So your logical mind, you need a house to build your dreams. You're building a container to hold the joy that you want to feel. But without the joy, the container is meaningless. So learning to oscillate between these things and create the balance is essential to having beauty in your life. I'm going to skip that one and get right to it. So when Fab called me, I had this vision. That was this images kept popping. It was annoying me, and I decided to do something about it. So I sat down, and over the weekend, I made this. And this is I said, how could I take everything I've learned, Hawkins' scale of consciousness, Dr. Patricia Allen with masculine, feminine, power communication, just the yin-yang concept, shadow work, and could I create some type of image that could be representative of this so that that I could sit with and self-reflect, and at any moment kind of gauge where am I at in my day, my season, my life as a whole, within myself, in my relationships, and how could I gauge where I'm at? And if I knew where I was at, could I then have some simple advice to kind of maybe get me oriented towards beauty? So I'm opening those portals of innovation, flow state. You'll see, we all want this. I know it's going to be hard to read, so I'll read some of these for you. It's flow, peace, coherence, love, passion, feeling secure, morals, and unity. And the way this works is, on the left we have are biased towards progress, okay? So again, masculine yang, logic, geometry as I call it, and this is our bias towards pleasure, feminine yin, emotion, and energy. And the language of pleasure is that I feel good. If I feel good, I'll do good, right? That's what the emotion, so a lot of women might really resonate with this. Like, take care of yourself, self-care, self-worth, self-love. If I feel good, I'll do good, right? Make me feel good and we'll be good, right? And so for the logical side, it's do good to feel good. It's a little bit, it's wanting to drive that sense of progress. I want to finish building the fence. You know, how many men feel like, I don't want to stop and rest until I've reached a period at the end of the sentence. That sense of resolution allows you to go back into your feminine and relax. Then you can relax. But if someone's trying to pull you off your course, you can really frustrated by that. So it's a pull between the two. So it's a little bit hard to read here. And I'm going to give you guys a download for this. So there's a QR code coming. So if you feel like you want pictures, don't worry. I'm going to give that to you. So if you find yourself moving too far into the pleasure state, if we go to the extreme, let's just go into society as a whole. You go to the extreme over here, what you're going to get is victim mentality. This is going to be hedonism. This is where you end up in really extreme situations. You join the hippie commune, drink Kool-Aid, and try to catch a comet or a UFO behind a comet kind of a situation. It's ungrounded. It's unhinged. There's no structure. There's no progress. Okay? It's fantasy. And here you have progress. This might be communist regime, Pol Pot, millions of people dying, and they always say it's in the name of peace, progress. We're trying to create order. When you hear that word, trying to create order, and they use force to create order, that is a toxic masculine or a hyper masculine energy that's choking out joy. And so both of these situations, the irony is, if you are here, you become biased or polarized to the opposite of where you are. So this is where you start to get the shadow work component. Because if anyone knows of friends who are in toxic relationships, you're going to see this dynamic at play. You're going to have the perpetrator, the narcissist, sociopath energy, and you're going to have the victim. They are dancing with each other because they are all they can see. And they both share the same shadow issues. We all have 4 common limiting beliefs that hold us, that magnetically try to pull us away from beauty. I am not lovable. I am not worthy. I am not capable. I am not enough. It's the same for both. So ironically, the narcissist and the victim have the same insecurities. And they're polarized and magnetically drawn to each other because neither one of them is doing their work. So this is why it's so important for people to be willing to take accountability in their lives and see what is actually keeping my eyes towards survival versus thrival, okay, the beauty. And when you can get that balance in your relationships, magic happens. Things feel easier and good. Dr. Mancini and Karen, you guys have this. I knew it from the moment I met you. It's like an energy exchange that happens between the two of you, and there's an effortlessness to it. And that's because you have that good yin-yang polarity there. And it's liberating. Women, you feel safe. I can dance and play and bring that joy because I know that the borders of the kingdom are protected. And you feel a sense of wind in your cells, progress, having that support and that beauty in your life. It's like, give me more of that. I'll keep making some more stuff if that's what I get. It's so simple, but it's so easy to forget and not do. So how can you take this home and apply in your daily life? You've learned a lot of stuff over the weekend. Lots of stuff. Your head's full of stuff. You might want to, when you're sitting at home and you're meditating, reflecting on this, I want you to think 2 questions that will help you. And I've written them up here. Ask yourself, what are my greatest gifts to share right now? This is going to drive you into your inner world. Because if you're dealing with self-worth issues, those kind of things, you're going to have to burn through your shadow to get to those answers. And that's healthy. That's good. What are your gifts you have to share right now? And the second question that will help you with progress is, what exists in the world because of me? What exists in the world because of me? Get the answer to those 2 questions to dance together, and that's going to be your vision. And this will get your right and left hemispheres. This will help you open a portal in your mind, and you meditate on that. That's where your innovative ideas, your next step, your next level is going to be. Then if you need help integrating that over the next 12 weeks, hit me up, because I can help you with the coaching part of it. All right, one last thing. Down here, if I get the laser, you'll see when you get the chart, this is also just something to take into your body. The masculine part of you is inhale. You're consuming, you're taking, and it takes energy to do that. It takes muscular contraction. It takes power. Exhale, release. That's why breath work will balance you, right? Inhale, exhale. Consume, replenish. Are you supporting businesses? Are you making things that are just consumptive but not replenishing the earth? What if you can find a dance between the two? Not that consumption is wrong, but replenish needs to be there. Give, receive, achieve, nurture, focus, relax, build, share. Daylight to moon. This is going to be your 4 a.m. to around 3 p.m., 3 in the evening. You're going to notice your mind is even going to shift into more relaxation, family time. Use this. There's a rhythm. There's a rhythm to this, just like your heart beats. Learn the rhythm for yourself, and then you'll know who you're going to be good business partners with, who you're going to be good relationship partners with. When you know what your rhythm is and feel like you're at your center, you're going to be able to meet other people at that center and open up portals with them of consciousness that let light, truth, solutions, and innovation come into your life. So a beautiful future. We've learned about AI, so just as a fun joke here, AI will destroy us all. AI will save us all. These are two dichotomies, and we will see. If you guys want to get access to this, you can just scan that QR code. It's a free download. It's a high resolution version. You can print it out, laminate it, frame it. And I just want to thank you for letting me come up and share what my passion is. Thanks, guys.